Would we know if it were, say, staggered?
You would. And in
Okay.
fact, it just crossed the line. Having been shot by those acorns, it drops to his knees. It drops to its knees briefly, and goes "Rah!" and then just sort of picks itself back up and dusts itself off and goes "Rah!" and gets back into the fight. And that is the sort of general layout of battle. I am also going to put and I am going to do this with the pen features because I'm feeling sassy. A big rotten tree right here. You can tell that this tree is just like it's not a healthy tree. There's a lot of like rot happening in it and monster step block. So if we could start by having everyone roll initiative.
Woo!
Now I'm going to roll for the fungaloids and the spores. And by roll, I mean...
It's a dope band name.
Fungaloids,
Fungaloids
and
and
spores.
spores. So good.
I'm like 90% certain I have a tab that has the D&D dice rolling app in it somewhere, and I've lost the tab, and now I need to find more dice rolling. Come on. Somewhere. Oh, here we go. I just had to open this thing. D20, roll. That is a 12 for the fungaloid creature, plus 3, so 15 for the fungaloids. They all go together. They all go together when they go. And they're going to go before everyone except for Steve. And as for the aerial spores, which get a plus 1, so they're not terribly fast moving. D20, that is going to be a 10 plus 1, an 11 on the aerial spores. And ties go to the monster. So I'm going to put them, I'm just going to put it in 12 because that's going to be easier for my brain to parse.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke. And so our first combat move goes to Steve, who gets to decide how to set up this whole situation. On your move, you get a move action, which allows you to sort of move around in the battle. A standard action, which is do an attack, or drinking a potion, or rally. Rally is getting back hit points. A quick action, which some of the things that you can do are called quick actions. A free action, which is talking or anything that is free. And at the very end of your turn, you make any saves that you have accumulated for your character. So you got a whole bunch of different phases there, but basically it's a move and a standard. With a quick if you need it.
Cool. Alright, the first thing Steve's gonna do, he's gonna back up and head towards the edge of the field next to one of the trees.
Just a second. I seem to have put Scarlet up here on her own, but she was standing in the front too. She's also in the battle, not just in the initiative. Okay, so you are going to back up into the trees. Where, like...
up to the side, I guess.
So, like, up sort of here-ish? Do you want to go a little further back? Or...
A little bit further back.
Okay, you're over here.
There we go. I'm gonna use my...
And he's just gonna sort of shuffle gently out of the way to make sure she's not directly in the path of your arrow. She notices.
Alright, I'm gonna take my longbow.
Yep.
And shoot one of the mushroom folks.
Okie doke. You shoot one of the mushroom fucks. So that is going to be a standard longbow attack.
Standard longbow. 13.
Okay, and we are shooting to hit an AC of these gentlemen of 16. So that is a miss. You do your miss damage, which I believe is 1 point.
Yep.
So I am going to stack a little 1 point of damage next to this guy. If this gets high enough, he'll be badly hurt. But it's sort of just you shoot him with the arrow. It hits him, and like sort of in the shoulder. But you can tell that it doesn't hurt him at all. He's not bothered by it, and it just sort of sucks into his shoulder and then falls off. Which is a sort of gross moment that this fungaloid has had, but everything for them is a gross moment. And that moves, it becomes the fungaloid's turn. Now there's sort of a natural crook here, so they're both going to attack the commander in front just because it feels like that's the most obvious move for them. They're not terribly smart. They're not real thoughtful boys. And they're both going to take a swing at Scarjo.
My AC is 19.
Okay, so one of them rolls a 17 plus 6, which is a hit, and one of them rolls a 13 plus 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is do ties hit on AC? I mean, we could look this up real quick. I don't want to slow things down too much. Penalties, I guess that would come up on a Control F for ties, but it's not what I'm looking for. Activities, abilities, penalties.
Oh, it hits on it hits on ties.
Okay, hits on ties. So they both hit you.
Right there.
And so one of them, it's just 2 regular hits, and that is a total of 4 damage to you. And so each of them just claws at you with their hands, sort of scraping against your armor and sort of nicking inside. Not doing an awful lot of damage, but just you can feel it in your skin and it hurts. And it's a bit surprising because that almost never happens to you as an office admin.
Yeah.
Ow. So having seen that, it is now Elweth's turn. If Elweth be your name.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, Elweth.
Well, after watching all... Oops, no, that's not me. After watching all that's happened, I think she's gonna grab her cool bow off her back and try to hit the same funky boy
Funky
that
boy.
Steve aimed for.
Okay. So that would just be another basic ranged
Straight up.
attack.
Basic ranged attack.
And it shrieks. You said 9 damage? So
Yeah.
10 damage total. It shrieks in pain because you have something has bothered it that you've done recently.
Elizabeth shocked.
Yeah. Does that give you momentum, or do you need a melee attack to get momentum?
That's a good question. I will look that up, but you could probably move on.
Okay. Well, while we're moving on, find out if you have momentum, because it'll be good to know if you have.
Gotcha.
Okay, this moves it on to the Spores' turn. And the Spores, there's really not an opportunity for them to get into the thick of things, so the Spores here are actually just going to sort of float in. They're going to sort of use their movement action to get, I'm going to say, here and here. And that's going to be the entire Spore move. Moving it on to... Aura is next in the turn order.
If I use my standard move to gather focus, can I not move backwards? Is my standard my movement?
No, you have a move and a stand. So you can move and then you can gather focus.
Are the spores attackable? Are they like...
Yes,
they
there are monsters with their own hit points. Their whole own deal.
They count as close enough for me to hit? With a close quarter spell?
Yes, close quarters is... So I think you... I believe...
Can I gather focus and rebuke and then step back?
You can't do all of that in one turn. You have to have had focus at the beginning of your turn to do rebuke, I believe.
Rebuke is my free spell.
Yeah.
It doesn't require focus, does it?
I thought
everything else expends focus, but I thought that rebuke was my just do it when you...
Yeah, but rebuke expends focus as a quick action, but then it allows you to... That gives you your standard action to regain the focus.
Okay, so I can't attack this turn. It's more what I'm saying then. I should take a step back and gather focus?
I believe so. I think stepping back and gathering focus is kind of your default.
Yeah.
And then you...
But I can't ever cast on the same turn that I'm focusing unless I've already previously focused.
It starts a chain. So this turn you gain focus, and then you have...
Yeah, and I can cast on my next turn.
Yeah, so you have a whole turn to also do an interrupt, which means that by holding on to focus, you get the opportunity to trigger any of your other abilities.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you can, next turn, if you haven't had a chance to trigger, you can either... Your option there is to rebuke and then regain focus. It's sort of like a chain.
Yeah.
So you stand back and you gain focus. I'm pretty sure I have an actual token for that. Here we go. You have focused.
I'm going to spend a lot of battles quietly mumbling in the corner to myself. I thought it was the one thing I didn't need to use focus on, but if I need to use focus for it, then I'd rather have focus and be able to be active on the next turn.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the deal. Is it comes as a quick action, so you can use it as a quick action to spend your focus, and then use your standard action to gain focus again. So if nothing cool happened while you were waiting, you can then do a quick attack, get your focus back, and that can be your turn.
Right.
Okay,
But
so you focus. You just like
I'm focusing and I'm trying to stay away from those spores. So I'm like
moving
walking
back a little
away
bit.
from them.
Okay, doke. Next in the turn order,
I
we.
do have momentum, by the way.
Oh,
so
you-
I think I need a token.
Okay, doke. I want to give you your momentum token. Boom. You have momentum. And you got that for the ranged attack triggers momentum?
It just says on attack.
Oh,
And if
any
I
successful attack gives you momentum.
Yep.
You start building it up if you hit
And if
someone.
there's no building up, it's on or off.
Yeah.
So if I hit, I have it. If I get hit, it goes away.
Okay, doke. And so our next turn goes to Scarjo.
Okay, I want to hit it with my scimitar.
Are we gonna hit the one that everyone's been wailing on so far?
I am hitting the one that everyone's been wailing on so far.
Okay, doke.
Smart.
Hit it with your scimitar.
1d20.
That's a 1d20 plus whatever your bonus to scimitar is.
So I have rolled an 11.
Okay, plus 3 is 14.
14. So I did not hit, I don't think.
No, that is a miss.
I think I get 1 command point when I miss, but I might be wrong. Let's assume I don't.
Okay, okay. You could check that on your command point
Yeah.
tab there, but I'm going to you do miss damage, which means you swing at it and it just nicks off a little piece of fungus, but is not really a terribly effective shot. Yeah, just gently nicking the creature, which just seems not even to notice your attack. And that takes us to our Squirrel Queen. What are we going to do in this battle, Squirrel Queen?
All right. I'm gonna reach down and grab the pouch around my waist, jam my hand inside, come out with 3 acorns. They're gonna glow super duper bright. And I'm gonna fire them acorns like a missile at the one that's hurt. And it is an automatic hit. So it's just 2d4 force damage.
Okay, doke. 2d4 force damage to this guy here.
Big money, no whammies.
Magic muscle.
Oh,
Magic muscle.
Right, 6.
Okay, so 6 damage to the creature. It shrieks a little bit. You've acorned it good. It doesn't like the acorns in particular. I'm actually gonna give it an extra 1 damage because it has a nut allergy.
But it's still standing?
Yeah, it's
My God.
still standing.
Jeez,
These
you
are
guys.
some pretty beefy boys.
Would we know if it were, say, staggered?
You would. In
Okay.
fact, it just crossed the line. Having been shot by those acorns, it drops to his knees. It drops to its knees briefly, and goes "Rah!" and then just sort of picks itself back up and dusts itself off and goes "Rah!" and gets back into the fight. And so that takes us back around to Steve. Oh, and that's our first entire round in the battle. Which I believe triggers an increase in the escalation die. So now everyone gets +1 on everything.
Yeah,
All right. Before I do anything, how rotten is that tree that's standing on the battlefield?
Oh, it's so rotten. It feels like it could fall over at any moment.
All right. Since I rolled a 1 for my terrain stunt, I'm gonna do that now.
Wow, that's a good roll on your terrain stunt. You're gonna crush
So
everyone
Steve-
with the log.
Steve is going to Steve is going to take the rope that he bought earlier out of his backpack, tie an arrow to it, shoot the arrow up to the top of the rotten tree, to kind of make sure it's kind of secure to the tree.
Yep.
Do some ranger shit and climb up to a similar tree next to it, and then jump off in an attempt to bring the whole rotten tree down the spore cloud and the mushroom man.
Okay. So that is a thing that has happened. Do you have to make any kind of roll for the terrain stunt?
Pretty sure I do.
I'm just going to quickly click on your terrain stunt and have it fill me in. This is improvisational. I get to decide what happens when you do the terrain stunt. And so, I am going to have that be a wild success because that's an awesome thing that you just did, pulling a tree down on top of everyone. However, I am going to describe that the path of the tree falling is going to be, I'm going to pull out my pen and draw a now cratched down tree, like so. And I'm going to give ScarJo a dexterity save. No, it's not really a dexterity save. It's just a DC check. Let's see here. What is?
So it's a D20.
So, how do we do DC? That's physical defense. You've got 13 physical defense. So it's like the tree is attacking your physical defense? That doesn't make sense. Maybe it makes sense? I'm just going to roll as the tree. It doesn't sound very satisfying. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a dice as tree to try to hit your DC. And if I hit your DC, you're going to take the same tree damage as all the rest of these goons. But if I don't, you won't. And so, D20, roll. I got a 9. That is lower than your DC. I'm not going to give the tree any kind of bonuses because it's a tree. I'm going to figure out how to do that better in the future. But you have successfully dodged out of the way of the tree in time for it to collapse on all of these creatures.
Yay!
So it is going to do D10 damage to all of them. Oh wow. That is a possibility on a D10 that I hadn't really considered. 1 damage to all of the creatures. Hooray!
I guess like they are basically trees.
They all also dodge out of the way, leaving a tree in. I'm sorry that was kind of an unsatisfying moment for the tree to fall in.
It was a pretty rotten tree. It was mostly just splinters.
It just sort of exploded around all of these creatures. In a shower of just gross, disgusting, messy tree. And I assume that as creatures that live in a forest full of rotting trees, they have, learned to notice when a tree is about to come down on them. And so they all just sort of stepped out of the way and took a little bit of splinter damage, but are otherwise unharmed. That being said, I respect how cool the move was.
Very, very cool.
Worth a try. All right, having done all of that, let's retreat back to, I guess, middle of the battlefield. I'm just gonna set myself like right there. Maybe right there. We'll go right there. We'll do that.
There.
Okie doke. That has been a very exciting turn.